How's it going, everyone? Marcus from Creator's Cauldron here. Today we're going to be scanning this clay sculpture of a Dragonhead that I sculpted about 3 to 3.5 years ago. It's starting to get damaged and I want to preserve it and remember it kind of how it was before more detail is lost or something happens to it. So first thing we're going to do is come over here and open the Einstar application. That is the Shining 3D software for the new Einstar handheld scanner, which is what we're going to be using on this dragon here. We're going to go ahead and give it a minute to boot up. Alright, then the first thing that we're going to do is click New Project Group. Go ahead and select a folder for it and name the file. I'm going to go ahead and pick the object scan mode. We're going to do medium to large objects. We're going to use the hybrid workflow at 0.2 resolution with the texture scan on. We don't actually need the texture for this, but I just want to see how its quality stands up to other scanners that we have at my place of employment. And next thing that we're going to have to do here is put on our wrist strap to protect our scanner, make sure we don't drop it, or at least prevent damage if it is dropped. Then we're going to hit this middle button on the back here, which is going to enter us into preview mode. We can use preview mode to set up our brightness. Right now it looks like it's pretty good, so I'm going to hit the middle button again, which is going to allow us to start scanning. And now you'll see as I turn this turntable here, it is starting to generate a copy of this sculpture. I did place some targets on this bottom jaw since it was having trouble with it being featureless previously when I was testing out the scanner. So I also added some targets to the turntable itself, so if I end up losing alignment with the handheld, I can just try to cause it now tracking loss. If I just either return back to an area that I've already scanned or hit these targets that are on the table here, I'm able to realign my scan. So go ahead and scan it from several different angles. Try to get all these hard to reach places. Scanners typically have trouble capturing things in crevices or overhangs. So the mouth area is probably going to be an issue, as well as in the horns and the eye cavities or eye sockets there. So far so good. Picked up a little bit of my hand, but we'll delete that later. I did put a few targets on the inside of the mouth, hoping it would help a little bit after previously giving this an attempt. And I'm not sure, honestly, that it's making much of a difference. May just have to do a few passes. I'm watching this light on the back here to make sure that my distance is good. Every time something's wrong, it turns red, and I just know to pull back a little bit or to move in. So I'm going to go ahead and rotate the scanner a couple more times. Change our speeds that we're turning it at. Give the cameras a bit of time to pick up, hopefully in the mouth there a little bit more. So far it's doing a pretty amazing job. And it's pretty much all scanners have trouble with picking up cavities like that or beneath overhangs. So the teeth and mouth area I was expecting to have a little bit of a struggle to capture. So next thing I'm going to do is hit the middle button again. I'm going to pause the scan. And I'm going to go over here and take a look at my data. I am doing a screen capture so that you guys will be able to see what I'm doing better. And I zoom in here. It's looking like it's pretty good. Still missing a little bit of the inside of the mouth and a couple areas in the horn, or around the horns. So I'm going to go ahead and put the scanner back on and hit this middle button again to go back into preview mode. And I'm going to hit it again to start scanning. Just see if I can get any of these hard to reach places any better. Looks like I was able to get a little bit more of the mouth there. And then that one target is working on the inside of the mouth. The other two don't seem to be doing much. We'll go down and try to get that horn area a bit better. Seemed to get in there a lot better than I was expecting. So let's go ahead and do one more go around, and then we will pause our scan again and check our data. Alright. So let's go ahead and take a look at our data here. Looks like we were able to capture a lot more of the mouth. There's still a few little holes in there. We got the backs of some of the teeth that were missing. And overall, we're looking pretty good here. So I'm just going to go ahead and hold down the Shift key and delete some of this floating stuff that we got here from my hand. And it looks like some of the table information. And then I'm just going to hit the delete key. And next we're going to hit apply edit. After applying the edit there, we are going to do a clipping plane to remove the turntable by utilizing the targets that I placed on there. Alright, so next up I'm going to click this cutting plane and go to by markers, and it's going to tell you to select 3 markers. You have to hold Shift and click on 3 different markers here. I like to pick different sides of the turntable, markers on different sides here, and hit create plane. Next you'll see that there is this plane created. Everything that's below the plane is going to be cut back. So if I raise this arrow up or down, it'll move the plane. So I'm going to move it up a little bit and just delete a tiny bit of the dragon to make sure it's resting flat. And we're going to go ahead and hit apply. Alright, looking pretty good. So next thing that I'm going to do here is hit this optimize and generate point cloud button. and that's going to take a minute. So as soon as I hit this button, we're going to go ahead and take a quick break, and we'll be right back. It'll probably take a minute or two, just a guess, based off of my previous scan. So let's go ahead and let that run. I'm going to pause the video, and we will return in just a second here. Alright guys, and we're back. So now that we've gone ahead and optimized our scan and generated this point cloud, able to see a little better where we're missing some areas. Still some more issues in the eye socket, a little in the horn area, and in the mouth there's quite a bit. So we're going to add another scan to this and see what we can get. So again, push the middle button, enter preview mode. Hit it again to start scanning. And we're going to see if we can keep losing registration when I'm above the model here, making it hard to get some of the areas that we missed. But we're going to see if we can weasel our way in there. Trying to get in the eye socket a little better here. Turn it around, go for the other eye. Alright. Go ahead and pause our scan. And now you can see that it's looking better. Got a little bit of the areas that we're missing. Still missing these eye sockets here, so I'm going to see what we can do about that. Okay. So for now, we're going to go ahead and call that good. I did do another scan earlier. It took a few more passes to clean or get a little bit cleaner mesh. So I'm going to delete this little area in the corner here by holding Shift, using my lasso, and clicking delete. And then next up, I'm going to go ahead and hit apply edit. And then once this edit is done, I'm going to go ahead and save this version or this scan. After we optimize again. So basically we're going to go offline, I'm going to optimize, and I'm going to open up the previous scan that I did so you guys can take a look at the quality that it was able to achieve. And once I open that up, we should be able to go ahead and bring it into a slicing software to be 3D printed. So we'll be right back. Alright guys, so now that it's finished optimizing and generating a point cloud, I decided I'm just going to run you through the rest of this. So the next thing I do is hit Mesh Model. After clicking Mesh Model, I select Water Type Model, High Quality, Filter set to High. I have Low Smoothing because I want to maintain some of the texture detail there. I don't really want to smooth out any of those details. I'm going to remove small floating parts, crank that up a little bit. Leave the simplification at 40. Max triangles are set to, I believe, 2 million. Let's see, it might even be higher. Set to 20 million, which for now is, that's way too much, but we're going to leave it. So I have removed spike turned on and marker hole filling turned on, and I'm going to go ahead and hit apply. So this is going to take another minute, or a couple minutes here. So when I did this earlier, I did end up having to clean up the teeth a tiny bit in Zbrush. So I 3D printed it in a clear resin. You can see the print here. I'm printing it on a FlashForge Dreamer and a Creality CR10 Smart Pro. On the Dreamer it's smaller, and on the 10 Smart Pro I'm printing it at full size so I can get a good comparison piece. And I'm also printing it again in gray resin. So once this mesh data is done processing, we will be right back. Alright guys, so now that the model's been meshed here, go ahead and hit confirm, and you'll see the bottom's a little blown out. So what I'm going to do to fix that is I'm going to create a cutting plane. Find a nice angle here. Hold shift and draw a line across the model. Then I'm going to click intersect plane. And you can see there that my line wasn't very straight. So this can be a little tricky with the draw line function. See if I can get it a little bit more straight. It would be nice if they had a shift to snap feature in here in order to create a perfect 90-degree line. That wasn't so bad. We're going to try again here. Although shift is already the hotkey to draw the line, so I guess it would have to be another hotkey. But let's click intersect plane, see what we got. It's not editable, so try one last time, and instead I'm going to drag it from here to there. And that looks much better. All about finding the right angle there. And I'll click intersect plane and then hit apply. Then we'll go ahead and wait for it to process again. hopefully will not take too long here. Found this method to be a lot easier than using semi-watertight or just leaving the scan data as is and going in and filling them all in manually. It'd be nice if they had a slider in order to select all of the holes based by size and fill them in that way, because then you could drag the slider up and then you could also go in and select individual holes using different modes such as curvature, flat, or tangent. In this case, to just do it, quick and easy, watertight the mesh. If the bottom blows out, use a cutting plane, cut that flat, hit confirm, and then you'll see it is nice and flat on the bottom there now. So far so good. One thing you'll notice is there is a little bit of stuff between the teeth here, but that could easily be cleaned up in Zbrush, which I did previously. But for now, I'm going to just show you how to save your scan. So hit save, hit OK, let it do its texture remapping. In hindsight, since I'm not using the texture, even though this was an experiment, I probably should have left it off for the video, just to save a little bit of your guys' time, but it's alright. So once this texture remapping is done, I'm going to export the mesh to my desktop, and we're going to take it into 3D Builder to check it for any issues. I'm going to go ahead and pause the video again and let the texture remapping finish, and we'll be right back. Oh, never mind. Just skip forward. 99%. Alright, so now we got the texture remapped. Got this beautiful scan here. Not seeing a whole lot of issues, lots of high detail. Like I said, the little issue between the teeth. It's a really hard place to get though, so can't really be mad about that, and it's easy to clean up like I was saying. So I'm going to go ahead and select STL, and I'm going to save this to my desktop as Dragon Test. Next up, I'm going to minimize this. I'm going to open 3D Builder. A little harder to use my computer this far away from it, but then I'll hit New Scene and find that dragon that we saved to the desktop. At least I thought we saved it to the desktop. Let's see here. Right here, Dragon Test, STL, open file location, and here we are. So I'm going to drag him into 3D Builder. Alright, so I'm going to hit Import Model, and you'll notice there's this red rectangle around the model. So if we click this little icon box in the right hand corner, it'll do its best to fix whatever the issue is, whether it's non-manifold geometry or holes in your mesh. It should do a pretty good job of fixing them. I've only had to do weird things once or twice, but always make sure that you don't save over your previous file and you double check your mesh. So once you hit that, it's just a waiting game again. And we will return after it's finished repairing. Alright guys, now that we got this repair function finished here, I'm going to go ahead and check out my mesh. It's looking pretty good. Next thing I would do is come over here and go to Save As. And I'm going to make sure I select STL for 3D printing. And I'm going to go Dragon Test _ fixed. That way I know this is a fixed model and not the original. Make sure I'm saving it to the desktop. And hit continue. Then after that, go ahead, or after that's saved, it can be taken into any sculpting software and you can clean up the teeth. I took it into Zbrush in this case and cleaned up the teeth and then decimated the mesh in order to make it much lower poly count. I could have done that inside of the Einstar software, but then when I brought it into Zbrush, it would be a lot harder to sculpt since it's already so reduced. So what I'm going to do next is go ahead and, when that's saved, I'll show you how I did the decimation process. Alright, cool. So next thing I'm going to do is open up Zbrush. And I'm going to go up here to my Z plugin, 3D Print Hub, and I'm going to go to Import STL File. Next, I'll go to my desktop, because that's where I saved my fixed scan. Make sure I select the fixed one. Hit open. Give it a second to load, and now I can go ahead and drag my scan in here. Hit T to make it editable. And now if I wanted to, I could go ahead and resculpt the horns that were broken in the Sculpture Studio if I wanted to print it with horns. For now, I'm just going to go ahead and change brushes really quick. Zoom in here, reduce the brush size, and just show you that, you know, you can really clean up all this scan data later if you want to by sculpting and a little smoothing and get a much better result. Now, I'm not going to make you watch me do all that. I've already done it, so I'm not going to redo it either. But the next step would be to go to Z plugin again, come down to Decimation Master, and then hit Pre-Process Current, which is going to prepare your mesh to be decimated, which is going to reduce the poly count, making it easier for slicing software to handle. Then once it's done pre-processing, all you have to do is come back up here to Z plugin and click Decimate Current. Then the poly count will be reduced. Then you can hit Export. Actually, sorry. Then you want to go back to Z plugin, 3D Print Hub, and export to STL. And then we will export it back out to the desktop. And bring it into Cura. By just dragging and dropping into the viewport. Now that it's in here, I can go over to my rotation tool and click select face to align to the build plate, and I can select the bottom. So now it's laying flat, and you can see Zbrush resized the scan here. So all I did to fix this or combat this, although there are ways to do it in Zbrush, is I went ahead and measured the Dragon, and it's 279.4 millimeters. So I just input 279.4 millimeters into the Z-axis with uniform scaling on. And now I have a full-size Dragonhead that's ready to be sliced and printed. So I really hope you enjoyed this video. It was a little tougher to make with all the loading bars, but I'm looking forward to making more content in the future. And if you like this, go ahead and follow me on my social media channels. Alright, thank you very much, and I hope you guys all have a great day.